Okay, so just a quick video about how sine and cosine works, because apparently no one understands how it works. So what most people want to use sine and cosine for is a circle effect. So you use the sine wave and the cosine wave. If I change this to white, a cosine wave there, and that'll create a circle effect. It's actually made up of two different waves, so it's made up of sine and cosine, which are the same. So sine and cosine are actually the same, but cosine is sine, so and it's not working. So cosine is equal to sine plus half pi. So that's 90 degrees. 90 degrees in radians. No, I think where people begin to struggle is when you actually have to implement this into Lua, which is fairly simple, because the function, so math.sin takes in at one value, x, and that will return a value between -1 and -1 to 1, just normal 1. That's so you can see that here. So where a is equal to 1, that's the amplitude. So that'll return a value. So there, that'll be 1. There, that'll be 0.5, and so on, and then 0.25, and then -0.5 and -1. You can control, so you can change the amplitude just by multiplying that by your desired amplitude, but which is where you can actually start changing that into like angles for lights, which is what I do. So I do, if I create a new layer, I do sin x and then times, so the angle that I want it to be, which is, let's see, I want it to go from -45 to 45, so you multiply that by 45, so then this a here and that a there, so a would be equal to 45 at that point, which, and if you don't want it to go from -45 to 45, what basically you just do is you end up adding 45, so from this, that plus 45, and then that gives you from 0 to 90. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Now when circles come into this, there's this good GIF that is on Wikipedia. So as you can see, you have your sine there, and your cosine, and these just correspond to the distance from the center. So you can see that keeps moving in and out, and that keeps moving up and down, and that and then that green dot is in the intersection between those two lines, and then it draws a circle. There's no tricks behind it or anything. It isn't something specific to Lua, which I think is where a lot of people get stuck. They try and look on the documentation. So if we do math.sin Lua, go on here, math library, go down to sin, which is further in the page, which doesn't appear to be on this page. Okay, go here. Nope. Let's go to Roblox. That'll be easier. So you see the Roblox math library, which is the same as lay. So if we go down and go to sine, nice in. Here it is. People get confused because it's just one variable. X, so if I go into Desmos, so where it says math.sin, then in the function parameter, the function argument is x. If we just do y, ignore the y, but sin x, x is the value of this, this line. So this line along here is x. So at at x equals 1, that's there. That's x. About 1 there is at 0.08 on the wave. But this is also where people also get confused, as this wave seems to just go to a random number. It's above 1.5, but it is actually, sine is in terms of pi, which, if you done basic maths, you would know pi is the ratio of something to your circles, which is why it is also why it's useful in sine and cosine. So if I were to change that to pi, you can see here now that goes through pi divided by 2, and that goes through 0, or just pi. So yeah, pretty simple once you know what to do. If I were to open up Studio, let us load. Just create up a new place and you can do some quick maths. Studio would like to work. Okay, now that we're in Studio, if I just create a part, put stick a hinge in the front, make it a square, and go and put a script inside of it. If I were to do while true do with, and then if we calculate the angle, so local angle is equal so cframe dot, actually I can just do vector3, so vector3 dot new, and we want to change the x and the z for this. This isn't, I'm not going to show you how to do it in lights, because then it shows how it expose my secrets, so I'll just do it in a part here. So that'll be x, that'll be math.sin x, and then that would be this one here, z, the z parameter would be math.cosine x. Now you can make x by doing two things. You can do local x equals 0, and every tick or every loop add x to, add a value to x, or you can do tick, which is where people get confused in tick too. Tick isn't needed. Tick is actually worse for this, because tick runs at a constant speed. With the x variable you can actually control, the addition. So if I'll stick x in for now, and if I click run, hopefully this would work. Oh wait, script dot parent dot orientation equals angle. Hopefully, if I've done this right. Oh yeah, so that is actually changing it from 0 to 1. So that's where I said, change it. So if I change this to 45, and this also to 45, I'll be going from 45 down to minus 45, as opposed to minus 1 to minus, 1 to minus 1. Oh, right. Actually, I want this on the Y, so it changes, so it pans and tilts. There we are. And then you can see that is in fact doing a circle. Now with this, if I just quickly add a number value, and then that's speed, and then script.speed.value, and then if I change the speed, you can see, oh, it needs to be quite small. You can see how I control the speed, of the circle effect. Whereas if I were to set replace x with tick, there's no way I can control this speed, as I can't. Tick is the actual time, it is the Unix time. So yeah, and that'll run at that speed no matter what you do. Or well, you can divide it by 2, I'm pretty sure. If I divide that by 2, I'll half the speed. But yeah, not even, it just runs at the same speed. But yeah, hopefully that answers your questions. Hopefully you'll stop bugging me on how to do circle effect, and hopefully you've learned something on how to use sine and cosine, because apparently no one can.